I haven't given up when it comes to Arcblock, and here are the reasons why. First of all, it's because I believe that ABT, its native token, could hypothetically go to the price of $100 during this bull run. That's not financial advice, but some people may be thinking, okay, take a look at the price of ABT as of right now. It seems to be going down. Well, keep in mind, it's not the only one going down. There's a bunch of altcoins going down. Not to mention as well, the space as of right now, I think it's taking a breather. When things fall by that much, of course, there's going to be a pullback. However, I think better days are ahead because keep in mind, when it comes to Arcblock, the fundamentals are really rock solid, and it's very hard, in my opinion, for a good project like this to do bad in the long term. And let me explain why. Because when you take a look at Arcblock, its goal is to simplify the process of decentralized application and as well as blockchain development. Now, some people may be thinking, okay, who cares about this? Well, keep in mind, it's only logical to assume that moving forward, there's going to be more decentralized applications that are going to pop up, especially as adoption increases naturally as a result. Also, more blockchains are going to pop up. So imagine being able to simplify that process, quite essentially making it easier. That's a total game changer right there. When you take a look at Arcblock and you understand that, hey, okay, adoption is going to increase. Let's make, that happen in an easier way. This is how amazing it is. I get it. It's not the most exciting or the most interesting or the most flashy project to some people, but in my opinion, it does play a very vital role. I'm not saying I only hold ABT in my portfolio. However, the way I take a look at it is that it has to be one of my foundational pieces. Of course, there's room for these, meme coins and whatnot in my portfolio, but there has to also be some of ABT in my opinion, because even despite, the price as of recently not doing the best, the way I take a look at it is that I'm not viewing this as to what could ABT do in a week or 2 weeks. I'm more so taking a long-term approach. Not to mention as well, if you take a look at something like ABT, exchange listings are very impressive. It's pretty good. It's not the best, but again, it's pretty good. Community is very passionate. However, even despite that, we have to take a look at the core of Arcblock is reusable and composable software components, which in this case are called blocklets. And keep in mind, any application on Arcblock is either made up of a blocklet or is a blocklet. Applications on Arcblock can support almost any mainstream blockchain service, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and of course, many others. So when you take a look at Arcblock, it's very impressive and the project really isn't that difficult to understand in my opinion. However, even despite that, Arcblock also has an AI kit, and when it comes to this, it quite essentially enables any application to have AI capabilities. We all know that AI is going to be a big narrative moving forward. It's only fair to assume that. Keep in mind, according to Grandview Research, the AI market is predicted to reach nearly $2 trillion by 2030. So yeah, it's a pretty big market. And I think that even though some of the AI projects as of right now aren't doing the best, I think the hype is going to jump back in a very massive way. And again, Arcblock having an AI kit, that could matter moving forward in my opinion. Not to mention as well, Arcblock is also focused on something called decentralized identity. Now, why is this a big deal? It's because the market size of this is expected to reach over $100 billion by 2030, yet again, according to Grandview Research. So it's not going to be the biggest market of all time. I'm totally aware of that. However, it's still a pretty good market nonetheless. Again, over 100 billion. That's a decent amount right there. So when you take a look at Arcblock, it really isn't a bad project in my opinion. And some people keep thinking that, oh yeah, this burns over. Well, I disagree with that. Take a look back in history, right? We do know that altcoins usually, as a worst case scenario, they typically peak around 18 months after a Bitcoin halving event. And the last Bitcoin halving event actually happened back in April of 2024. So if you think about that, 18 months from then is actually around October this year. Again, this could very well happen as a worst case scenario, at least based off of history. Now, I'm not guaranteeing that because history isn't always going to repeat itself. It could maybe happen earlier, which would be awesome, or maybe even a little bit later, which is not a bad scenario either, in my opinion, because it's actually more time for me to accumulate. But again, I think this does give a good benchmark. And you want to know someone else that thinks 2025 could be a special year? Take a look at Charles Hoskinson, who's the co-founder of Ethereum and also the founder of Cardano. What does he say? He says that based on a video that he was a part of back in November of last year, he said that 1 to 2 years from then, he said that he could very well see Bitcoin reaching anywhere between $250,000. That's $250,000, by the way, all the way up to $500,000. Could you imagine that? Now, if let's say we assume his best case scenario timeline, so a year, so that would be around November this year, and then worst case scenario price target for Bitcoin, 250,000, that could hypothetically mean Bitcoin reaching, again, $250,000, right, in November this year. Now, this is all speculative. There's no guarantee. But the way I take a look at it is that, again, historically, 2025 could be a very special year. Not to mention Charles Hoskinson, he also has some assumptions that 2025 could potentially also be a very special year. And I just don't see why not. There's over 600 million crypto owners as of right now, according to Crypto.com research, which is more than ever before in history. I highly doubt that this burn is going to be bad. Sometimes people like to say that, oh yeah, ABT is going to keep going down forever. Well, take a look at Luna Classic. Did that go down forever? No. Did XRP go down forever? When it was at a time where it wasn't doing the best? No. Did XLM go down forever? No. Did Litecoin go down forever? So the way I take a look at it is that things don't typically go down forever if they're good or have a good following. Like, I'm not saying Luna Classic is good by any means, but it does have a good following, And keep in mind, it's not like ABT at the price of $100 is that crazy anyways, because if it were to go to that price, considering current circulating supply, market cap would be around $10 billion, which is not too bad, right? We've seen Dogecoin reach over 80 billion. We've seen BNB reach over 100 billion. I'm not saying that ABT is going to have these record-breaking figures or anything like that, but achieving at least something like this, it doesn't seem too impossible in my opinion. And also, not to mention, that is running 95x from here. So that's kind of crazy, right? Because ABT has went down so much in price to the point that now $100 is running 95x from here, which it may seem like a bad thing at first glance. But the way I take a look at it is that, why is that so bad? The way I view it is that the lower the price, the better the buying opportunity. I get it. It may be bad in the short term as the portfolio goes down. But in my opinion, a worse feeling than seeing the portfolio go down is seeing it go down and then not being able to take advantage of the quote unquote dip. You know what I mean? So the way I view it is that for me to be able to stay in this game in the long term and still be able to accumulate on the dips, what strategy do I do to be able to do that? That is dollar cost averaging. Anytime I income, I acquire, I hold, and I just wait. That's it. I don't day trade. I don't use leverage. I don't swing trade. I don't do any of that, because by constantly dollar cost averaging, it doesn't matter what happens to the price. Again, anytime an income, I'm just acquiring, holding, and just waiting. That way, I'm more so focused on the project as opposed to the price charts, right? Because if I'm focused too much on the price charts, then I won't really know what the project is all about. I may think it's bad, even though in reality it may not be. You know what I mean? Because if someone just looked at the price of ABT as of right now, as of recently, they may think, oh wow, it's a bad project when it comes to Arcblock. But is that the case? No, I don't think so. It's a project that's very simple and easy to understand, which I think is crucial because that is very necessary, in my opinion, to have a very good and passionate community, to have a good following, because how can people believe in a project that's very difficult to understand, not to mention good exchange listings, also amazing fundamentals, again, when it comes to Arcblock. If it was only based off of the price, people won't really take that into consideration, but I do, because I still believe in this. $100 during this war run wouldn't surprise me whatsoever, and I'm still very bullish on ABT. And make sure to subscribe if you gain value from this video. I'd greatly appreciate it. It's only the captain, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.